I now invite Mr. Piyush Goyal, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, to address this audience.
I better take my water before I have to ask. Thank you very much, ma'am. Honorable Minister and a very dear friend for many years. My mother and he have worked together in the legislature, I think, for several years, and we've always seen in him a very dynamic personality of Maharashtra. Mr. Salunke, who has organized this wonderful morning for all of us, distinguished guests from overseas, a very distinguished audience I see before me, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we have the advantage of having the Honorable Minister with us and spending so much time, which is a little bit of a rarity these days, to listen to what distinguished guests from overseas have to say. Possibly also Mr. Salunke flagged off certain issues which are of importance, which are of great relevance to Maharashtra and the future potential of Maharashtra as we proceed in the coming new year, 2013, going forward. And I'm sure the Honorable Minister will hear the views of your chamber, of your conference. I'm sure the report or something will be presented to the Maharashtra government, and we will see a lot more action in the years to come. But we all very clearly recognize that Maharashtra has lost the sheen. There was a time when we were the preferred destination. I remember when my family came to Maharashtra maybe 50, 55 years ago, there was an enthusiasm in this state to build ourselves as an industrial superpower. I think Maharashtra over the years has seen very great, glorious years. And then in the recent couple of decades or last 10, 15 years, we've seen also the slide of Maharashtra. I think we need, Honorable Minister, I hope you don't mind my being a little frank. More often than not, I find that we live in a world of psychophancy. So when we have a minister, or maybe when I'm also there, people will come up to me and tell me, your party is doing very well. They'll come to you and say, you are doing a great job, Mr. Minister. Your government is great. And I think this psychophancy is costing my country and all of us in public life very dear. We live in a fool's paradise. We tend to believe what we are told. And then behind our back, the people say what's the truth. And I think we need to move away from that. I think we need to hear from you what the truth is, as well-wishers of each other. It's very important we recognize what the true state of affairs are, what the problems are. And then we can sit down and address the issues. We can sit down and solve the problems. And I'll take the liberty, Honorable Minister, of stating some of the truth as I see it, having worked both in the corporate world, in the industrial sector, and now also representing the political management of this country. And I think there are certain things that if we do address, and we can address it together, we can see a very glorious future for Maharashtra. I think if we want to summarize the problems that Maharashtra as an industrial destination faces, I would probably put 3 or 4 issues on the table. One is the political will of Maharashtra to change the state of affairs. I think one common complaint I hear from industry is we can't manage 5 parties. We had 4 till recently, now we have 5. And a common industry, a man of industry, and I think Goa has a similar problem to some extent, Mahadevji, is that we can't manage 5 parties. And I think we in the political class, we need to give a message that we can do politics on a variety of issues, but at least on matters of national interest, on matters related to trade and business, we are willing to come on one platform and stop a little bit of the harassment that industry is going through. The second is the bureaucratic arrogance at the higher levels and a bureaucratic lethargy at the lower levels. This combination has been lethal for Maharashtra. So much as you as a minister may want to do something, and sir, we have seen you as a very dynamic minister, but you still have to work through the bureaucratic tangle, and that kills the initiative of industry. The third is labor activism. While clearly nobody over here, I'm sure, would like to deny labor their due, we are in a situation where between political parties, and all of us run labor unions, the activism on the labor front to compete with each other is again damaging the reputation of Maharashtra. Well, corruption is an issue. We all talk about it. We are all conscious of it. I'm only hoping and praying that one day we can be rid of that completely, or at least substantially reduce it so that we can all, give industry the confidence that come to Mumbai, come to Maharashtra, and you can do a great business. So I think these are the 3 or 4 issues I thought kind of summarizes the pain of Maharashtra. But I'm not a pessimist. I'm an optimist. I still believe a few steps, a few actions, a few concrete policy measures, and some confidence given to trade and industry. And in that, all of us probably could go together to the people and say, we are in it together. We all mean business. We are all going to facilitate your business, and give them that confidence. Come to Maharashtra and we'll support you, we'll invite you with open arms. I think we can still change the picture. And I'd like to make a few concrete suggestions towards that end. Sir, I think if we want to make Maharashtra a preferred destination, we need to leverage, first of all, on our industrial corridors. We have 2 or 3, 4 corridors. We have the Mumbai, Nasik, Pune belt, fast urbanizing belt, growing belt. We make promises that we'll make Maharashtra or we'll make Mumbai Shanghai of India or Shanghai of this part of the continent. We plan big projects. We make big announcements. I think what we now need to do is on the ground, get down to brass tacks to leverage on these industrial corridors, whether it's Mumbai, Pune, Nashik, Thana, whether it's the Aurangabad belt in Marathwada, whether it's the Nagpur belt in Vidarbha. I think if we focus on 3 or 4, 5 concrete industrial belts, we can look at substantial investments coming into these places. But clearly we need to upgrade the infrastructure. We need to improve the civic management of these areas. Second leverage we can work on is the coastline. And you, sir, come from an area which is a beautiful coastline. I mean, I for one believe the tourism potential of Sindhudurg itself probably can get you 6 million tourists, which all of India attracts from the world. But if we leverage our coastline, we can develop our ports, we can develop our exports in a much larger way. We can look at large defense manufacturing coming into India. I mean, today defense manufacturing for warships and all is going more to Gujarat than to Maharashtra, whereas we have such a large coastline. We have environmental issues, we have issues of sorting out land acquisition. If we can put our act together on the coastline, possibly even talk to the center to sort out some of the CRZ issues, I think we can do wonders with tourism in Maharashtra. So I think the second point I wanted to make was on the coastline. The third is Maharashtra has always prided itself on its knowledge and skill base. I think if we were to actually get our educational institutions tie up with some grand universities from Canada, from the US, there's so much opportunity in India and particularly in Maharashtra to create a knowledge hub. And ultimately any state which creates knowledge, which creates skills, is going to score over the rest of the states in Maharashtra. And lastly, I think we need to leverage on the fact that Maharashtra, even today, is quite advanced on social and human development indices. I think even now, compared to large parts of India, Maharashtra on a social basis, on the human development basis, is still far ahead of the rest. I think if we leverage these 4 broad areas, the urban industrial corridors, the coastline, the knowledge and skill base, and then finally our social indices. I think between the 4 of them, Maharashtra still provides, and I say this to the distinguished guests from Canada, from US, Maharashtra still provides the best environment to do business and set up collaborations with. I think what the international community is looking for can be categorized between 2 or 3 sectors. One is the macro factors, and in the macro factors, I think there are 4 broad support systems required. Of course, we can argue till the cows come home about the global economic crisis, but we can't do a lot about that sitting here. But I certainly believe the global crisis is an opportunity for India to actually grow even faster. When the world is in distress, they are looking for low-cost manufacturing. They are looking for services from countries, whether it's the IT-enabled services, whether it's financial services. They are looking for a base which cuts cost, especially in a situation of economic doom and gloom in the world. I personally feel instead of crying about the global crisis, we need to see how we can benefit from that. And I see great opportunity for India. and in that Maharashtra, to leverage from the global crisis. Of course, there are national issues, whether it's the national policy, whether it's the Reserve Bank of India's playing with the currency, playing with the interest rates. I have joined issue with the Reserve Bank on many occasions because I believe the thinking over there is completely outdated. You can't run an economy where SMEs and small people are required to pay 14 and 15% interest. We just can't survive globally in a competitive world. So I think we need to, and there, sir, your party is in power both at the center and the state. I think you need to influence the center to make some more active measures to support the small industries, the medium industries, whether it's in terms of implementing the new manufacturing policy, whether it's in terms of interest structure, and in terms of facilitating the debureaucratization, whether in environment, whether in the licenses still required. I think overall, if the national policy could also make business easier, we could in Maharashtra benefit from that significantly. Of course, the state has to come up with policy initiatives, state has to come up with serious measures on the ground, which are evident to the people and which the people can trust. I think that could make a lot of difference. You just announced certain measures yesterday in terms of sorting out the mess that's been created in SEZ. I won't go into the history of that, but I've been passionate about the SEZ story. I'm just recollecting, I had put up a note to Mr. Vajpayee in 1999 suggesting we should create 100 new mega cities in this country. And then he sent Mr. Maran to go to Singapore, China to study, and he came up with the SEZ law. I think we've buggered up a very good law because of bad management. Having said that, I'm glad you came out with a policy yesterday to try and ameliorate that problem and still take that policy forward. But it pains me to see two things, sir. You come out with a policy and the very next moment, the partner of your government says, no, we have still not accepted that, we have to discuss. Now, I think a government needs to have at least consensus within. Though I would go one step forward, you should have had consensus with all of us. Why could I not be invited? I mean the other parties, the opposition parties, to come and have a cup of tea that, look, we are trying to unveil this kind of a policy. You have some suggestions. Let's talk it over. Let's discuss. I think we are all working for national interest. I'm sure your focus on national interest and my focus on national interest cannot be different. If only 3, 4 of us, 5 of us had sat down, come up with a policy where there was unanimity, where all of us could say to the world that this is Maharashtra's policy, we will all support you to implement it, rather than, a confrontationist approach. So that type of policy in the state where we can show to the world we mean business, please come, we'll all support you, could make a lot of difference. And then, of course, the city administrations. I think we need a lot to be done in terms of octroi. Mumbai, though it's controlled by my party and the Shiv Sena, I think has still not been able to sort out the octroi problem. I wish the state and the cities would sit down together and sort out what needs to be done at the city level. Also to attract foreign investment, actually today it's not even a need for foreign investors alone. While we do attract and welcome foreign investment, I think we need to first encourage the Indian entrepreneur to invest in our country and our state. I'm worried that Indian enterprise is going international now. They are more concerned how much of their business can be overseas rather than in India. So I think it's equally important to give a message to the Indian entrepreneurs that India is a great destination. Come to India, come to Maharashtra, come to Mumbai. So broadly, if we could sort out these issues at the national, state and city level, and those issues are simple. If you try to look at what are those issues, an Indian businessman wants to be free from bureaucratic hassle and control. I think if we trust the Indian entrepreneur, if we trust the enterprise to do their job honestly and get them out of the raid raj. I mean, we started in December this year. Normally the raid raj starts in March. We have industrialists sitting here who will all be suffering this kind of a problem in the next 3 months. We were yesterday with the finance department, the Ministry of Finance in our standing committee. And I raised this issue. What is this? Indian businessmen are there to do business. The country is going in a bad economic crisis. In that situation, if you're going to send CBI, income tax, sales tax or VAT now, enforcement directorate, service tax, excise. The multifarious tax authorities are going to harass the Indian entrepreneur. How are we ever going to do our business? We are sorting out all this rather than doing our business. Obviously, we need to also work on things like interest rate, congenial atmosphere on the labor front. We need faster decision making. I mean, look at the real estate sector, sir. You have been involved with that also. There are people from real estate here. I welcome the initiative of this government 2 years ago when they said we want to clean up the mess. It was great. I actually sent a message to the Honorable Chief Minister that we will support any initiative you take to clean up this mess. And the mess, sir, is not that everybody is bad. It's one or two people who misuse a law. The others, to remain competitive, are forced to do the same. Otherwise, they don't remain competitive. So if a real estate person says, I want to do my business honestly, because somebody else messes up with these laws, he's forced to do the same thing. But I'm glad the government sorted it out. But sir, it doesn't take 2 years to sort out such a mess. And 2 years of uncertainty, we've almost killed a whole sector in Maharashtra and in Mumbai, just sorting out this mess. And then after the 2 years, we don't even grandfather the past. Ultimately, whenever there's good policy change, we need to grandfather the past. If past wrongs are going to be brought under a new law, it's going to completely be difficult to administer and it's going to bring the whole industry to a standstill. And that is going to cause your NPAs. That is going to cause people to say, Mumbai is not the best place to do business. They take 2 years to set up a law, then they create problems for our business. I think if we look at everything a little more holistically, if we try and build consensus in the system, if we do an overall blueprint preparation of how we are going to take this state forward, I assure you, sir, from my side, from my party side, complete support. We are also working for national interests. For me, it's more important that my state of Maharashtra does better, is able to attract more investment than the neighboring states. We have Gujarat and Goa, both sides of Maharashtra, run by my party. And whether we like it or not, we have seen in the past, and a lot of people here are probably going to go to Vibrant Gujarat. Look at the way they reach out to entrepreneurs. Look at the way they reach out to the world. Come to my state. Look at the way they give Tatas land in 24 hours to set up Nano, which should have rightfully come to Pune, where the Tata hub is. We are losing ground, we are losing opportunity, we are losing that attraction that Maharashtra was the premier state. I still think, sir, we can do it. We can all jointly put our heads together. I personally pledge my full support, and I assure you my party will also support any initiatives to make Maharashtra once again the premier state in this country. Thank you very much.